A couple days ago, I got a comment on one of my videos that kind of just made me laugh. And it was something about, I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was along the lines of, I love it when 12-year-olds give life advice. I don't recommend this channel. And the thing is, I've received a bunch of comments like this before, and it's something that I've especially seen with other people in my space, with people telling them that they are too young to give life advice. And I do agree with one fact on this, with this guy, that I do look young. I probably look around 15, 16. I'd say 12 is pushing it. And if you don't know, I'm 18, so I'm fairly young. And since the type of content that I produce is related to giving advice on certain subjects, I can see why people who are especially older, which I'm guessing this guy is, they associate my lack of age with a certain lack of knowledge and a certain lack of experience. And I do agree, the longer that you have been around, the better your chances of accumulating certain experiences are, and the more days you spent on this earth. But the mindset that a lot of people get caught up in is that age equals experience, and those two go hand in hand, which I do disagree with, because I think there's a lot of young people, and I think there are especially people my age who could do the same kind of thing that I am with producing a channel like this and giving advice, who do have the experience. Now, I don't really have a specific reason why I decided to make this video. It's not like calling that guy out or anything, or like declaring that I'm good enough to make videos on this. It's just an idea, and it's the way that I see things, and I want to articulate them. So if anyone out there who wants to do the same thing as me, or wants to do something but has that limiting belief that their age is a factor in terms of them doing it, that limiting belief should be broken. Now, I remember a couple months ago, I watched a video from one of my favorite YouTubers, Jordan Green, on this, who was kind of talking about this same subject. And there's going to be a lot of similar concepts that are similar to his video, which I'm not trying to steal, but I just want to articulate it in the same way to a new audience and kind of give my taste on it and give my opinion about this specific issue. So the way that he kind of describes it is there's two certain kinds of wisdom, and the first kind is gained through experience. Now, this is just simply things that you learn from doing things that you have done in your life. Now, this is kind of where a lot of people get caught up in the fact that an 18-year-old shouldn't be giving life advice because I'm only 18, so how can I give advice about what to do with your life and about certain things versus someone who's lived a full life, say at like 60 or 70 years old, who's married and has kids and grandkids and all this stuff. And how is someone who's 18 capable of giving that advice? Now, there is a certain degree that the more time you spent on this earth, the more that you can experience and the more opportunity you have to experience different things because you've lived here longer. But with that being said, for 18, I have a certain set of experiences that most people won't even come close to getting in their lives. And I'm not trying to say this like in an egotistical way. I'm just saying that I've done a lot of things for my age, especially in our modern world, that a lot of people older than me will never come close to doing. For one, I have the experience with making money at doing something that I genuinely love, which is music. And I have made more money playing music, doing something that I love, than I have working at other jobs throughout all my years of high school, working part-time and working full-time in the summer. I made more money playing music from doing like live shows and also doing work online, from like mixing for people and also doing vocals and just arranging songs. I have spent the last 3 years learning how to make money doing something that I love, and that's not how a lot of people see it, especially in older generations, because before we didn't really have the internet. The only way to make money was either running your own business in the physical world or working for someone else. That was really the only two ways to do it. But now we have the internet, which completely changes the game in terms of making money doing specific things. It's a lot easier to make money doing something that is unorthodox for a job like music than it ever has been before. And I have a lot of experience with this. I've spent the last 3 years trying to learn how to do this and trying to learn how to make money doing something that I love. And discussing the topic of social media and technology, generations before us didn't grow up with having iPads and having social media. Yes, they had TV and like stuff you should stay away from and limit your screen time, but they didn't grow up with being on an iPad and an iPhone since you were like 5 years old, and being addicted to social media and video games and having all this stimulation from the time that you've grown up and just constantly being bombarded with it. And I've gone through that. I know what it's like to have grown up with social media and being addicted to it, but also how to break away from it. And even though a lot of adults can discuss the psychology and break down how it works better, a lot better than I can, I have a set of experiences that a lot of younger people can resonate better with, because I know what it's like to have grown up with being on I was on TikTok before it was even called TikTok. It used to be called Musical.ly, and I know what it's like to be just scrolling through things constantly from the age of 9 till I ended up quitting at 14 and getting off of that stuff. I know what it's like to have been through that, and I also know how to break away, which is information that I feel like a lot of people can benefit from in our generation. And even for my age, I also believe I have a really good grasp on what it's like to learn self-discipline, especially through physical training, because most people haven't ran a marathon. Most people haven't trained for a full year just to run a marathon. And most people don't have a certain black belt in martial arts. Also, most people haven't spent 3 months traveling around on their own in a completely different continent, hitchhiking from place to place, working on an online business like I have. There's a lot of unique experiences that I have that obviously some people do, but most people haven't done in their life, especially since there's a lot of things we can do in our generation that previous generations didn't have the opportunity to do. I'm not trying to be egotistical in this video, but I just want to explain to you that you can't let age limit what you believe you can do with the world when it comes to experiences, because we've all gone through things in life. We've all experienced certain things that are unique to us, and we have our own unique story that no one else in the world has the same as us, but there's a lot of people that can resonate with it. So that if there's certain lessons you've learned doing a certain thing, your age doesn't really matter because you've had that experience and you've gone through it. Now, the second kind of wisdom that I want to talk about is actually not a wisdom that you gain, but it's wisdom that you lose. And a lot of people don't believe that this is, or even know that this is a thing. But yes, there is wisdom that you lose. And this comes in the form of authenticity. It comes in the form of being genuine to who you are and having that will for adventure and that will to explore, which who has that? Young people, especially kids who haven't been conditioned to see the world in certain ways. We all gain certain beliefs, and some can be extremely empowering and give us this mindset to go after things and do things in the correct way so we don't get hurt or do things that are going to have a detriment to others. But we can also adopt beliefs that are equally as limiting and equally as destructive, that prevent us from being something that we could and prevent us from getting to our potential. And this is why when you ask a kid what they want to do with their life, they just respond with whatever they genuinely want to do with their life, whether that be to be a hockey player or be an athlete or to be a lawyer, which I don't think most kids will say they want to be a lawyer, or to be an actor or something. They just respond with what they genuinely want to do. And when someone asks a kid what they want to do, all the parents are going in the back like, that won't happen, because that belief of what they wanted to do as a kid has been destroyed. And that not necessarily is the bad, and not necessarily is the worst thing to happen, but there's a lot of people with big dreams out there, and there's a lot of people who want to accomplish things. And I believe the more that you've gone through real life, the more that you're susceptible of being conditioned, which I find has happened a lot through middle school and high school. And people tell you need to go to the real world, you need to go to university and get this degree. And we're constantly under the influence of, maybe it's our parents, maybe it's our teachers, maybe it's even our friends, or maybe it's even pressure we're putting on ourselves because we're trying to satisfy what other people think we should be doing just based off our own perception. And we are making decisions just to please other people, or because we think that's what they think we should do, and we're not doing it genuinely because it's something that resonates with us and something that we want to do. And we lose that ability for authenticity to ourselves. And I think that's something and a factor that I've done a pretty good job of holding on to, especially since I'm young and I'm only 18. And I know that I've always known music, and working for myself has always been something that I want to do, and maybe I won't get there immediately, but it's always a goal that I'm going to have, and it's always something that I'm going to keep to myself because that's authentically what I want. And that might change in the future, but that's okay and I'll adjust when I get there, if I get there. But right now, this is what I want to do, so I'm going to pursue it with everything I have because it's just authentically what I want to do with my life, and I have that ability to believe that I can do it. And if you don't have that belief in yourself, you're never actually going to get there. And I think that's where a lot of older people are not necessarily limited in their perception, but aren't open to the possibilities that our generation has, because the internet, like I said before, has changed everything. You wouldn't be watching this video if the internet didn't exist. You wouldn't even know about me if the internet didn't exist. And it allows us to do so many different things. And as I've found growing up with it, it can either be your biggest weakness or it can be your biggest asset. And it's up to you the way that you genuinely want to live your life. But I know this video has kind of been all over the place, but my underlying message is don't let your age be a limiting factor if there's something that you want to do. With that being said, my name is Kobe Wallace. I'm an 18-year-old artist from Canada, and if you like this video and want more talks like this and also want to hear some of my original music, you might as well subscribe. It's a win for you, it's a win for me, and you get to see some more content. The support really helps me out, and if you want to join our free community on how to break your phone addiction and start using social media in a productive way, there's a free community linked in the description. If you want to check out my original music, also in the description. And with that being said, never stop creating, my friend, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.